Hey, KidNuz fans! As you know, we're always working to increase the news IQ of our listeners. Now there's a way to help them improve in all sorts of subjects. IXL is an online learning platform helping millions of K-12 kids up their academic game. 75 scientific studies back up the boost they'll get in math, science, reading, and social studies. Kids get instant feedback and explanations. Parents get reports showing what's working and where more help might be needed. And right now, KidNuz listeners can try it out for 20% off when they sign up at ixl.com/kidnews. Check out the monthly and annual memberships at ixl.com/kidnews. Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Kim. Today is Friday, August 16th, 2024. And we begin with a Pennsylvania groundhog making news that has nothing to do with Gobbler's Knob or a spring-winter weather prediction. Employees at the Meadows Family Fun mini golf in the town of Hollidaysburg were stunned to discover a real-life woodchuck nestled among the stuffed animals in a claw machine arcade game. Somehow, the critter had found its way in, but couldn't or wouldn't come out. 2 phone calls later, one to the Pennsylvania Game Commission and another to a vending company to unlock the machine, and the furry intruder was safely released into a nearby field. The Meadows, which also sells frozen desserts, is making the most of the groundhog's 15 minutes of fame. They've printed up t-shirts that read "Respect the Groundhog" and held a naming contest on Facebook for their new celebrity mascot. The winner? Colonel Custard. The Republicans held their national convention in July, and starting Monday in Chicago, it's the Democrats' turn. 3 sitting or former U.S. presidents will take the stage during the week-long party, including Joe Biden, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton. But the highlight for the Democratic delegates comes on Thursday when current Vice President Kamala Harris accepts her party's nomination. Then it'll be a mad dash in the race for the White House, with only 75 days till Election Day. Are you curious about the process? We've got you covered. Starting tomorrow, we're debuting KidNuz Convos, a new longer format podcast where we'll sit down with a guest expert and dig deeper into one of the bigger stories making headlines. It'll be everything you love about KidNuz, but longer. Here's Tori with a preview.
Thanks, Kim. This is something we've wanted to do for a long time. And tomorrow, the very first episode of KidNuz Convos is on the biggest story of the moment, the U.S. presidential campaign. I'll talk with longtime political reporter Carla Marinucci about the history-making decision of President Biden to drop out, why some states are called swing states, and why they're so important, and the purpose of the political conventions, which the Republicans held last month and the Democrats kick off on Monday. You'll find KidNuz Convos starting tomorrow morning on our website or wherever you get your podcasts, so I hope you'll tune in and check it out.
And each month we'll have a different topic. Thanks, Tori. Something tiny is causing a big stir in New York City. Scientists have their eyes on an invasive ant species threatening to disrupt the local ecosystem. Originally from Europe, the so-called Manhattan ant moved into the city in 2011 and has been multiplying at an alarming rate ever since. Characterized as large, fast, and aggressive, researchers note that unlike the common ant, which stays close to the ground, these insects are even turning up on city rooftops. According to NPR, the critters are expanding their territory approximately a mile a year and could eventually make their way up and down the East Coast. Researchers are scrambling to learn more about the species and what effect they could have on native plants and animals. Running a marathon is an incredible feat on its own, but imagine doing so on a broken leg. That was the case for Olympic distance runner Rose Harvey from Great Britain, who realized a few miles into last weekend's 26.2-mile race that something wasn't right. It turns out she had a stress fracture in one of her femurs. On Instagram, she described running the final 24 miles as a painful battle, but kept going because she refused to give up on her Olympic dreams. Rose finished the race in 78th place with a time just over 2 hours and 51 minutes. In other Kid News notes, Columbia University President Manoush Shafiq resigned from her job just 3 weeks before the start of fall classes. She becomes the third Ivy League president to leave their post amid fallout from campus protests related to the Israel-Gaza war that began late last year. Still to come, what's old is new again, the back-to-school hairstyle that's all the rage. But first, the Kid News quiz. What type of animal made its way into an arcade claw machine game? A groundhog. Where is next week's Democratic National Convention taking place? Chicago. What is the nickname of the invasive ant species taking over New York City? The Manhattan ant. A marathon runner from Great Britain finished her Olympic race despite having what injury? A broken femur. And in our Kid News kicker, it looks like curtains for the trendy broccoli hairstyle trend that has dominated boys' locks for the past few years. According to Parents Magazine, surfer curtains is the new look teens are gravitating towards, and it's actually not new at all. The throwback hairstyle is a mix of laid-back curls and 90s curtain bangs, inspired by Gen Z icons like Timothy Chalamet and Charles Melton. Hairstylists say it's popular because it's low maintenance, and with millions of views on TikTok, the trend shows no signs of slowing down. Before we go, teachers, you can now sign up for free classroom shoutouts. Just fill out the form inside our Teachers Lounge at kidnews.org. Shoutouts will be back next week. Thanks for listening. We hope you tune in for our Kid News Convos tomorrow, and we'll be back with our regular Kid News episodes on Monday. Have a great weekend.